The purpose of this video is to bring to the public's attention the airline industry's abdication of its historic role of fixing and maintaining its own aircraft. All documentary evidence referenced in this video comes from the Office of the Inspector General for the United States Department of Transportation. Prior to the 1978 Airline Deregulation Act, the industry's business model was that in exchange for a purchase ticket, an airline provided a properly trained flight crew to operate an airworthy aircraft maintained by the carrier itself. The second half of this business model has been abandoned. Under the radar, the major carriers have made the determination that they would, for the most part, no longer maintain the airworthiness of their own aircraft. Federal agencies have expressed concern at the rate of this radical transformation and their inability to monitor the impact on aviation safety. Thus, in 2005, the Department of Transportation's Office of the Inspector General reported, in efforts to reduce maintenance costs, many airlines are increasing the amount of total maintenance that is performed by outside maintenance providers. In fact, major carriers now outsource an average of 53% of their maintenance expense as compared to 37% in 1996. In 2013, the OIG reported the trend continued to accelerate. Quote, over the past 15 years, major U.S. carriers increased spending for contract maintenance by nearly $2.7 billion. Industry experts expect this trend to continue as airlines increasingly attempt to cut maintenance costs and maximize profitability. In response to congressional concern that the FAA might not be well positioned to effectively carry out the responsibility of monitoring the work performed by outside repair stations, the OIG conducted periodic audits of the FAA and its oversight. In July 2003 and September 2008, the OIG reported that, quote, FAA oversight did not ensure that work completed at repair stations met FAA standards. In 2013, the OIG again concluded that, quote, FAA's oversight of foreign and domestic repair stations lacks the rigor needed to identify deficiencies and verify that they have been addressed. FAA does not have an effective system for accurate and timely risk assessment of foreign and domestic repair stations because of critical weaknesses in its repair station oversight process. Still more recently, a 2015 OIG audit concluded that even with respect to facilities located in the European Union, quote, FAA's ability to fully evaluate foreign authorities' capabilities, coupled with inspector training weaknesses, process differences, and data limitations, hinders FAA's assurance that repair stations in the European Union receive quality oversight and maintain aviation safety. Proper aircraft maintenance depends on the individual technician's adherence to the standards and procedures mandated by the manufacturer. Irrespective of the technician's skill, airworthiness cannot be met in legal environments where there is no oversight and the individual technician is subject to retaliation without recourse for reporting aircraft damage. Nonetheless, outsourcing to jurisdictions where the rule of law in the aviation context does not exist, China, El Salvador, Brazil, and Mexico, has mushroomed. The operational consequences is that the dwindling population of carrier-employed technicians in the United States is confronted with an increasing volume of maintenance discrepancies and outright maintenance fraud with respect to aircraft returning from foreign and domestic repair stations. The result has been a ratcheting up of management pressure on its own technicians to turn a blind eye to aircraft damage that renders an aircraft unairworthy. In the last 3 years, the gravity of the situation at U.S. major carriers has been repeatedly recognized by the FAA. If you, the viewer, have an interest in documented case histories of the continuing pressure on aircraft mechanics to turn a blind eye to aircraft damage, please go to the following links to learn about maintenance operations at Southwest Airlines and American Airlines. The perception of aircraft maintenance as a cost to be avoided rather than a legal and moral obligation is an industry-wide problem. We salute the aircraft mechanics at American and Southwest who have resisted coercive management practices. Ironically, the problem is at its worst in those venues where you hear about it the least, at foreign and domestic repair stations.